Now it's the Edelman era. Michael Jordan didn't do anything pre-Pippen and anything post-Pippen. Advantage Tom. Here's the third one. Tom, in a sport where even practice is hard. Football practice is hard. And yet Tom Brady's gone 18, 19 years, never missed a beat. Emotionally, Michael Jordan quit twice. He quit. It's too much. It's too emotionally draining. Advantage Tom. Basketball is a sport built for dynasties. Football is not. In 13, just remember this, 13 NBA players have 6 rings. 1 NFL player does. Last name Brady, first name Tom.
The Carolina Hurricanes battle the New York Rangers at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on our Discovery Card Key matchup. Get your free credit scorecard today. Even if you're not a Discover customer, it includes your FICO credit score, and checking your scorecard won't hurt your credit. Learn more at discover.com/credit scorecard. Limitations apply. Doug Gottlieb and Joy Taylor in for Colin here in the Herd on Fox Sports Radio, Fox Sports 1, and the iHeartRadio app. Still reacting to last night's crazy night in the NBA. Look, I understand that there are people that disagree with me in terms of my evaluation of the assets that the Lakers were willing to move. And I do think that last night proved some of what I said to actually be true. Like Nick Wright and I have gone back and forth on his show, on my show. My show, by the way, is 3 to 6 Eastern Time on Fox Sports Radio, following Colin on many of these Fox Sports Radio affiliates. So whether it's on First Things First, his TV show, or on my radio show, or on social media, I just thought, look, it's just way too much. It's too much. I was okay. If you want to give away Brandon Ingram, fine. You want to give away draft picks, okay. But draft picks, Brandon Ingram, cap space, and Kyle Kuzma, who I think has the potential to be, borderline all-star, if he's not already borderline all-star. He's just learning to shoot the three. And then Lonzo Ball, who, despite the fact that his dad's doing everything in his power to napalm his time with the Lakers still are hopeful, as am I, that he can be a legit quality starting point guard. There's some things that he does that no one else in the world does. But some other cleaning up to his game that they need with an NBA offseason, because the truth about LeVar Ball is not really a basketball coach, didn't really know how to coach him. And though he did a lot of good things for his son, he didn't put him in position where he could immediately succeed the way that, say, a Trae Young could. He doesn't understand pick and roll basketball. The point is, I wouldn't have packaged both Zoe and Kyle Kuzma. But as reports that apparently the New Orleans Pelicans leaked out, they're willing to give them both up. And Ingram, who you don't have to love Ingram. And he wasn't great at times last night. He was selfish down the stretch there. Should have gotten the ball to LeBron James, but he is a 17-a-game guy. He is still very, very only 21 years old. He's going to continue to get better. The question is, how high is his actual ceiling? He's never going to be Durant, even though he looks a little like Durant, and there were thoughts he's not. But just because you're a notch or 2 notches below Kevin Durant, that's a notch or 2 notches below, if not the best, the second or third best player in the NBA, depending on how you want to rate him. The idea of giving up all 3 and first-round picks and cap space, to me, is a ridiculous, I think, over-evaluation and almost panic move by the Lakers. And Del Dem should have taken it. Look, there's a multitude of reasons he should have taken it. I mean, you're waiting on the idea that the Knicks, that don't have, in terms of personnel, anybody you really want. And even if they have the number 1 pick, there's so much unknown with the Knicks. They think they're getting Kevin Durant, but what if they don't? Because, Kevin Durant, he seems to handle the Bay Area media so well. Kevin Durant would probably handle the New York media really, really well, right? Like, if you struggle with the negativity in Oklahoma City and in Oakland in terms of the media, how do you think KD is going to do in New York City? Because they're so gentle. And then even if you get Kevin Durant, do you get a Kemba Walker? Do you get a Kyrie Irving? What if you don't get either? Are you then willing to move off the number one pick if they even get the number one pick? And even if all those things work out and you get Kyrie Irving and you get Kevin Durant and you get the number one pick, do you want Anthony Davis? Or do you want to see what Zion is because Zion fills up more seats? There's a lot of ifs there. The Lakers seemed desperate. The Lakers, by the way, this offseason will likely have a pick of a couple of other free agent options. They just do. And you were dealing with a team that was bidding on themselves, which is the one thing you're not supposed to do in business. Never bid against yourself. But they were. But you want to know the number one reason that Dell Demps should have consummated the move? Because the guy he's really waiting on is the guy who engineered 3 or 4 of the greatest trades in the history of the NBA, Danny Ainge. And look, Danny Ainge, for his part, apparently said, all options are on the table. Sure, we consider trading Jason Tatum for Anthony Davis, but we don't know what consider trading him. Like, does that mean that you would make him take the Gordon Hayward contract? Like, we don't. Danny Ainge doesn't know if he's going to have Kyrie Irving at the end of the year. If he has Kyrie Irving, then yeah, he'll probably be willing to make another grandiose move and get a great player. To take a listen, this was Danny Ainge earlier today talking about Kyrie Irving and the likelihood that they would re-sign Kyrie in the offseason.
The way I view the situation is that I think a lot of people, because of Kyrie's announcement at the beginning of the year, thought that there was a marriage. I think that it's more like an engagement, and we're going to get married on July 1st. And I think that that engagement is still on. As far as I know, in my individual conversations with Kyrie, we're still engaged, but we really can't, make those vows, sign that contract until July 1st.
Look, he's still got the ring on, so that means he's still in, right? That's what he's saying. Look, you're trusting Danny Ainge. Danny Ainge essentially amounts to Lucy from Charlie Brown. That's who Danny Ainge is. Here's what I mean. Think of some of the trades that they pulled off in Boston to build up this juggernaut. They built up this juggernaut twice. Remember, they pulled off a huge move to get Ray Allen, for example, as part of that big three, right? They got Ray Allen and Glenn Big Baby Davis. And they gave up Jeff Green, Wally Szczerbiak, Delonte West, and a second-round pick. They landed Kevin Garnett. They gave up Ryan Gomes, Gerald Green. Al Jefferson was the big get. 2 first-round picks. Here, please take Sebastian Telfair. Sebastian Telfair was one of the key players at the end of games when they were trying to lose to tank. That's what they thought of Sebastian Telfair. That was the first time they built the big three. And then they got rid of Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce and Jason Terry and got all those picks from Brooklyn when those guys were over the hill. They got a bunch of expiring contracts and 4 first-round draft picks. Then remember Markelle Fultz, who was given away to the Orlando Magic? He was the number 1 pick in the draft. They traded away Jason Tatum and got another first-round draft pick from Philly for a better player. I wouldn't ever. The Kyrie Irving trade. They got Isaiah Thomas for a first-round pick. He becomes an MVP candidate. They get to the Eastern Conference Finals. His hip breaks down on him. Then they move off Isaiah Thomas, flip him to get Kyrie Irving, who's one of the best players in the league. Like doing business with Danny Ainge and expecting a positive outcome in a trade is a lot like Charlie Brown lining up thinking, hey, no, this time, Lucy promises that she's going to hold the football in place. He's responsible for more GMs getting fired than Carmelo Anthony. So Dell Demps, who has authored a couple of the worst trades in league history, one that was so bad, giving away Chris Paul, that David Stern stepped in and said, no, we're not doing that. is betting on, is gambling on either the Knicks getting the number 1 overall pick and dealing it for Anthony Davis, or getting the positive outcome, the good